those are false ways of negotiating with yourself, and they're false because if you iterate them, they lead downhill. That's why they're false. You can tyrannize yourself, and you do that often when you start to develop discipline, right? You take the whip hand to yourself, and you force yourself to do things. And there's a certain utility in that because you can learn to forestall immediate gratification and to carry a bit of a load with an excess of discipline. And lots of times people do that in their 20s as they're developing their careers, and it's part of the apprenticeship process. Perhaps that's a good way of thinking about it. But it's better to negotiate with yourself. There's a gospel line, ask and you'll knock and the door will open, ask and you'll receive, seek and you will find. I mean, have the order of that wrong. And you think, there's no way the world's constituted so that can possibly be true, but it is actually true. So you can ask yourself, the problem is you have to do it honestly. What do you want? If you could have what you wanted. It's very difficult for people to ask themselves this question because they generally won't accept the answer. Or they won't even accept the proposition that they're pursuing something at the moment that isn't actually what they would want. People hide what they want from themselves. They're afraid they'll betray themselves, like maybe you won't let yourself know what you want because you don't trust yourself. You think you'll betray yourself if you actually allow yourself to understand who you are. You certainly do that with other people. You won't let your wife know what you want or your husband because you don't really trust them. And if they know what you want, then they can withhold it from you. And then they have the whip hand over you. You'll certainly do that to yourself. If you could have what you wanted, what your heart most desired, if you were treating yourself properly, what would that be? That's what you call that's a question for contemplation. You ask yourself, and if you ask yourself that, you'll find out. And then you'll know, and you think, well, that might be worth aiming at. And then you start to aim and move toward it, and that fills you with hope, and it strengthens you, it quells your anxiety, and you can move towards it. And that's better than holding the whip hand over yourself or succumbing to slavish temptation. And it's also something you can do. So that's a better deal. I have a program